What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Last time, we saw the conclusion to the baby arc, and also spent a bit of time talking about what will happen in this part. After successfully stealing Vegeta's body, Baby began its rampage against the other Saiyans. Even though Kakarot and Broly were in trouble, they were able to break their limits, going past their strongest selves. But we also saw the return of Frieza and Cooler. In Hell, they were beginning to plot something, but what exactly was Frieza trying to do? We'll see that in this video. For this part, let's set a like goal of 3,000 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with the next part of the series, which will be the finale. Anyways, let's pick up from here and begin this final arc. Reluctantly, Cooler has decided to join Frieza. He still hates Frieza, don't get that wrong. But they do have a common enemy, the Saiyans. They both want revenge against them. With Cooler, King Cold, and Frieza all teamed up, they begin plotting. Of course, it would be kinda hard to get their revenge while stuck in Hell. And that's Frieza's whole plan. They need to leave Hell somehow. Leave Hell? That's preposterous. Cooler doesn't know what he's talking about. That sounds impossible, and kinda stupid too. If that even were possible, wouldn't that have some dire consequences? Frieza says it is possible, and he doesn't really care about the consequences. What matters is them getting their revenge, asserting dominance over everyone. Even if they're dead, that doesn't mean they have no other options. So Cooler asks, what exactly is he planning? Well, for that, Frieza's gonna need to introduce Cooler to someone. He assumes Cooler's heard of Majin Buu before. Wait, they got the help of Majin Buu? Well, no, not exactly. But Frieza did meet the person that was trying to revive Buu, someone related to the person that actually did create him. It's Babidi. Even though Babidi died in a completely different part of the universe and wasn't even connected to Frieza and Cooler at all, he does have a similar goal. The Saiyans are partially responsible for his defeat, as well as preventing Buu's revival. Yeah, that's great and all, but Cooler doesn't know how this guy's supposed to help him. Babidi seems quite weak, but that's where he's wrong. Babidi is weak physically, but in terms of magical abilities, he has so much to offer. Babidi has an idea in mind. He wants to create a weapon. That'll help him escape Hell somehow. And this isn't going to be like Majin Buu. This is going to be a much better weapon. Something much stronger, much more deadly, much more focused. And the best part is, it's going to be a much more feasible weapon, one that they can actually create. And Cooler is intrigued by this idea, but he's still skeptical. He asks Babidi, how does he know that this won't backfire? And to be honest, Babidi says he doesn't know, but there is a really good shot at it working, and it is their only shot out of here. What, do they want to be stuck here forever? Do they not at least want to attempt something? Even if it doesn't work, or even if it backfires, they at least want to be sure that they're stuck here instead of waiting around doing nothing. What they need is energy, and there's plenty of that in Hell, but they also need souls. Babidi's idea is to channel all these souls and all this energy into a vessel that'll become a weapon. This weapon will be a servant to them, as well as being strong enough to break them out of Hell, breaking the barrier between Hell and the living world. Of course, there are risks involved. Doing something like that would have some major consequences, but he trusts that Cooler and Frieza are strong enough to handle themselves in those circumstances, and they still get what they want. They're going to be able to leave Hell and get their revenge, as well as King Cold too. Although, this weapon is going to be sentient, and they need to make sure that it's kept under control. Not to mention, they're going to need more strength to gather power in general. So, for those reasons, it would be a good idea if they started training. Frieza and Cooler absolutely abhor the idea of this. But it seems like it's necessary, and hey, once they get back to the living world, who knows how strong the Saiyans are? They'll want to be prepared. And they know that Frieza had some huge potential as a mutant. Cooler might not have the same amount of potential, but he could still probably grow strong really quickly. And who knows, maybe once Cooler's back in the living world, he can harness the power of the Big Getty Star again. Sending a glare over to Frieza, who he partially blames for destroying it. Cold told them to stop bickering. They all have a common goal after all. They need to put all that aside. Just train for a bit and gather this power. Fine. For a few months, they begin their training. They both get bored of it pretty quickly, but they see some great gains, and because they are dead, they don't have to worry about energy either. They can just keep going and going. Although they do have to be very careful. If they die while they're already dead, well, they're gone forever. There's no shot at coming back to the living world. They'll be completely erased for good. And they need to keep this in mind for later too. While Cooler has his final form, Frieza actually discovers a brand new power, something completely different from that. He creates an evolution of himself, making it golden. He feels it's a fitting color, and Cooler is eventually able to do the same. This is what they call their golden form. A pretty simple name, but it obviously gets the point across. They begin their conquest of Hell as well. The great thing is, it's not too hard to gather souls. First of all, there's a lot of strong people in Hell, which means a lot of power to be collected. But more importantly, these people aren't strong enough to actually face Cooler and Frieza. They're defeated pretty easily, and their power is still more than enough to give Babidi some energy. And it's not like people are going to care if they go around Hell killing people. Of course, there are people fighting for self-preservation, but outside of that, everyone here is here for a reason. People going around fighting others is pretty normal here, and no one really bats an eye. And it doesn't take too long for them to gather the energy and the souls that they need. Of course, Babidi's plan isn't still fully realized. He has something really great in mind, but he actually does have the ability right now to open up a portal out of Hell. He tells Frieza and Cooler that they should wait. They need to wait for this weapon to be done, then that'll assure their victory. But they can't wait. They want to go right now. And even though Babidi keeps suggesting this, he eventually gives in. opening the portal for them, letting them do their own thing. And this might actually work out better for Babidi. Who cares if those two die up there? They're gonna gather so much energy by fighting those Saiyans that it'll really help them down here. This weapon will be so great. It'll be so much better than Majin Buu even. We'll refer to this as the Hellbreak Saga. Frieza and Cooler make it through. They're obviously still dead. They even have the halo on their head as well. King Cold stays back in Hell. He's gonna stick with Babidi and help him. He thinks both of his sons are being a little bit too rash, but if they want to go fight right now, then whatever. The portal also remains open too. It seems Babidi caused some permanent damage, tearing this hole in between realms. And King Cold also wants to make sure that no one else takes advantage of this. This is their own thing, but once the Saiyans are dead, hey, anyone else could use it. And Frieza and Cooler realize that they need to be careful. If they die here, they're gone for good. And the two of them waste no time. They immediately begin seeking out the Saiyans. And they send some strong powers. But it isn't just the Saiyans they knew before. There's someone else there. Another really strong power close by to them. It also does feel like a Saiyan in a way. They follow this power, and they're led to the hub of the Galactic Patrol. They launch a massive blast, blowing a huge hole in the side of the ship. Everyone is sucked out into the vacuum of space. But surprisingly, a barrier appears around them, and all the Galactic Patrol soldiers are saved, including the Saiyans that were training on that ship. No one knows what's going on, and why this barrier even appeared. It was Mayris. Even though he can't fight, protecting everyone is no problem with the barrier. They didn't know he could do that, but that's not the main focus right now. What was that just attacked them? The Saiyans look up and they see, not believing their eyes. It's Frieza and Cooler. This definitely is real too, and they have the halos above their heads as well. Somehow, they came back from Hell, getting one final attempt at revenge. They're ready to fight, but not sure what to do. They're out in the middle of space and can't really do anything, but Mayris decides to help. Kakarot obviously knew his identity, but Mayris reveals it to the others as well. They were hoping he could help, but he can't really do that, at least not directly. He can help indirectly. As an angel, he's forbidden to fight, but there's nothing against him helping out others. And this seems to be a battle for the Saiyans. He says he'll help get the rest of the patrol to safety, and the Saiyans suddenly are surrounded by a bunch of barriers. This is going to be a bit temporary, but this will help. He created their own atmospheres for them. After what happened against Baby, they all saw that it's going to be a big issue if they're fighting out in space. Kakarot and Broly almost did die out there because of it, but this should be a good solution, even though it won't last forever. This barrier will allow them to breathe, and they waste no time either, going out and confronting the two brothers. Frieza and Cooler are just as confused as to what happened, but that confusion disappears as the Saiyans encounter them. This is what they wanted. They reintroduce themselves, glad to see the Saiyans again. Although that large one isn't too familiar, and Broly's not too familiar with these two either. But the formalities don't really matter. They just want to get down to fighting. If that guy's a Saiyan too, then whatever, he'll just die with the other ones as well. Vegeta yells out, asking how they got back here. Frieza and Cooler say that's none of their business. Right now, all that's important is that they are back. And they're gonna finish what they started. A fight immediately breaks out. The two of them are in their final forms, with Frieza already being in his and Cooler transforming into his. If they're lucky, the battle might be as quick as doing this. And the Saiyans are surprised. They all transform into Super Saiyan. Effortlessly, in fact. This doesn't really surprise the two brothers. They kind of expected this. But the Saiyans are much stronger than before. The Saiyans even comment on this too. Frieza and Cooler are way stronger than when they were killed. And they say they haven't been sitting around doing nothing. Obviously, them being here is proof of that. But as I mentioned before, they don't want to waste any time. They've already gauged the strength of the Saiyans, and their final forms aren't going to be enough. They're going to need that brand new power that they just unlocked. Mid-battle, the Saiyans are confused. The two brothers begin glowing, surrounded by golden auras. Their energy is soaring. It's amazing. After a brilliant flash of golden light, they're revealed there now in their golden forms. A new transformation? That's definitely going to be a big issue, especially with how powerful it is from what they're sensing. But with all the Saiyans together, this might not be too big of a deal. Before Frieza and Cooler launch into battle, Kakarot tells them something. Yeah, they might have gotten new transformations, but did they really expect the Saiyans to only have Super Saiyans still? Frieza asks what they mean, and Kakarot questions him. After being around Frieza for so long, Kakarot knows what Frieza knows. He has to have heard of the legend of the Super Saiyan God before, right? A Super Saiyan God? Of course not. That can't be possible. And this makes Kakarot chuckle. With a quick flash of red light, he turns into one. Frieza can't sense his ki. Cooler tries to as well, and can't get anything. And Kakarot says he's entertained by how terrified they look. But he'll admit, one Super Saiyan God isn't going to be enough to fight them. Frieza and Cooler begin laughing. Why would he say this? So he's confirming that they've already lost? Well, not exactly. They didn't let Kakarot finish. There's not just one Super Saiyan God here. There's 4 of them. Oh yeah, and if that wasn't good enough, there's a level beyond Super Saiyan God as well. And that Broly guy over there, he might not have that form, but he has something just as great. Frieza and Cooler watch on in terror. They're blinded by a collection of brilliant blue lights and one green light. What did they get themselves into? Did they actually leave too early? There's no way their golden forms are going to be overcome this easily, right? Well, that might actually be the case. Forget Super Saiyans and Super Saiyan Gods. Right now they're facing 4 Super Saiyan God Super Saiyans. Just the name alone says what it is. Plus, that huge green guy over there. That's terrifying as hell. The 2 of them don't care. They're still gonna fight regardless. They didn't come all this way for nothing. The great thing is, even though they are using their golden forms, they're still dead, so they don't have to worry about stamina. They can keep going on for however long they like, and they won't have that problem that Frieza had in the original story. But even with that, they're facing 4 Super Saiyan Blues and Broly. I don't think I need to spell it out for you how bad that is for them. Raditz tells them they should have stayed dead, and Nappa says they're gonna just send them right back to where they came from. But actually it's not gonna be that way. Once they kill these 2, they're gonna be done for good. And even though the Saiyans are confident right now, they're still a little bit pissed off. I mean, the entire Galactic Patrol base just blew up because of Frieza and Cooler. And they almost died with the rest of the Galactic Patrol. Thankfully, Mayer saved them all. So they at least need to make up for that. A massive space battle occurs. It's so great to be able to travel around without having to worry about breathing. The Saiyans are loving this. They have so much space to fight and have so many places to maneuver to. Using space to its fullest is actually great for battle. They need to do this more often. Well, not in these circumstances, but this is fun still. Their Saiyan blood is pumping. And the best part is, they get to defeat Frieza and Cooler again. Just as quickly as the 2 brothers came back to life, they're killed. For good this time. And the Saiyans are happy. Of course, the Galactic Patrol's base is still missing. But that problem was solved pretty quickly. So, everything's okay, right? Well, not exactly. What they don't know is the fact that this was part of Babidi's plan all along. Frieza and Cooler were just a mere distraction. And ironically enough, King Cold even knew this too. Babidi's surprised that he betrayed his sons and didn't stop them. But Cold doesn't care. He believes in Babidi's cause much more. Whatever he's doing right now, that's actually going to be much more effective. Out in the middle of space, Mayris teleports back in. He's glad to see that Frieza and Cooler have been defeated, but he tells the Saiyans there's still an issue. It seems Frieza and Cooler got back because there's a portal open from Hell that allowed them to escape back into the living world. And this could be a big issue because the portal is still there. It's not disappearing, and it's actually growing stronger. And what's worse, he consulted Whis. There's an ominous presence coming from it, almost like something's being made. Something is about to awaken there, and they're not too sure what it is. Besides the fact that they need to close this portal, they also need to figure out what's going on there. Alright, that sounds pretty bad. They're gonna have to stop that as quickly as possible, trying to find the source of whatever's doing this. And Mayris brings them to that portal. The issue is, whatever's causing this isn't actually near the portal. He already looked into it and it doesn't seem like anyone's nearby. This is way far away and secluded. They're gonna have to manually hunt down the source and figure out whatever he's doing. Although it's gonna be risky. The Saiyans might be strong, but they gotta remember, they're going into an entirely different realm right now. It's Hell. It's pretty obvious how bad and risky that is. But obviously this is necessary. They need to do this and stop whatever's going on. In another part of Hell, Babidi's plan is almost completed. He's gathered so much energy by now, and Cold is eagerly awaiting this brand new weapon. The energy they just collected from Cooler and Frieza is coming in. They just need a little bit more time, and Babidi can finally awaken this weapon. And then, they'll take over Hell, as well as all the other realms. They'll take over the entire universe, maybe even the multiverse. But they run into an issue. Of course, there's still a bunch of people in Hell that are still alive. And there's one particular group that got really mad when they heard about this. Of course, they're not good people. They're here for a reason after all. But hearing Frieza and Cooler were up to something didn't sit right with them. And they're pissed off. They're already too late. But still, King Cold is here. Over the horizon, a massive army appears. Babidi wonders who those people are, and King Cold smirks. He should have expected this. Of course, the people that would try to rebel against them are Saiyans. An entire undead Saiyan army comes up towards them. They may not be strong enough, but they can at least try and stop this. They're dead if they don't. At the forefront of it is King Vegeta, finally standing up to King Cold once and for all. The Saiyans died by their hands once. They're not going to die again to this. But King Cold's attention is diverted. Out of the army of the Saiyans, he senses a really strong power. A familiar figure stepped up to the front. Tied to that power is a very familiar face. Wait, there's no way. The person standing there, it's Kakarot. When did Kakarot die? He thought he was in the living world. But it isn't Kakarot. But it is someone related to it. Frieza may have taken Kakarot for himself, but he was never truly Kakarot's father, and Kakarot's rebellion shows that. He's already heard stories about this, and it's been made personal for him. This is Bardock. The fact that Frieza was the one to find his son and raise him to be evil, of course he'd figure that out eventually. And he is furious. The Saiyans all rush King Cold, ready to kill him and Babidi, but King Cold says he'll be fine holding them all off. He'll protect Babidi and the weapon. But they're surprised. They feel another energy behind them. A couple other powers are coming closer and closer to them. They're far away, but because of the battle between the Saiyans and King Cold, Kakarot's group is slowly catching up. They see where the portal's being generated, and they can sense the weapon nearby. Babidi just needs a little bit more time. It can't end like this. On one side, the Saiyan army is advancing towards him, being held off solely by King Cold. On the other side, the Saiyan Galactic Patrolmen are coming towards him. If they all converge together, that'll be the end of them. But amidst all the chaos, something weird begins happening. It feels as the entire realm of Hell vibrates. Everything around them, it's inverted for a second. and a massive wave of ominous energy explodes out from where Babidi is. Babidi turns around behind him. It's finally done. His weapon, it's been charged up. It's awakened. King Cold laughs. Finally, this power. He's glad to finally meet this weapon. A creature has been created. King Cold walks up towards him. And this creature, it makes eye contact with King Cold, and King Cold immediately freezes up. He's then suddenly disintegrated. The creature phases right through him, and he turns over towards the Saiyan army. They have a clear view of him right now. This creature is chuckling. Babidi's a bit terrified, but also, he's happy. No, that doesn't explain it. He's elated. This is what he's always wanted. This is so much better than Majin Buu. He floats up above the Saiyan army. He introduces them. This is his greatest creation yet. Janemba. Janemba's face contorts into a smile. And this is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? And what do you think is going to happen next time in the finale? Will Babidi be able to claim victory? And more importantly, how will Janemba be overcome? Leave all your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you like the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part to this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.